Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey, this is Jeff Becerra of the band Possessed. You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a very, very huge privilege to be speaking with Mr. Jeff Becerra. He's the vocalist of Possessed. Possessed will release their first album in over 3 decades. Revelations of Oblivion will be released on May 10th via Nuclear Blast Records. The band has released their second single, Shadow Cult, from their performance at Live at Bloodstock Open Air in 2017. If you haven't got to check that out, you need to, because it's fast, it's in your face, it's fucking awesome. The complete performance will be available in the limited edition box set as a CD and Blu-ray, which I think is sold out already. But Possessed has also launched their multi-part documentary series entitled The Creation of Death Metal, where they discuss the genre's beginning. Like I said, it's a very huge honor to have Mr. Jeff Becerra on here. Jeff, how's it going, my man?
John the Bod, what the fuck is going on? It's so good. The honor and pleasure is all mine. It's really good to be here.
Yeah.
On, the Mayhem Hour, the infamous Mayhem Hour. And so, yeah, it's really good to be here, man. I mean, we were rapping before, and you're like a severely cool guy, so I can tell, this is going to be fun. It's good to be here, man. And it's 33 years since the last album.
Yeah.
And it just happens to be the lifespan of Christ before he was crucified. So, that's the reason. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah. So, it's cool,
It almost baffles me that it's 30-some years from your guys' last album. I remember when I was a kid listening to your guys' stuff, and I mean, geez, dude. We'll get into this because it just blows my mind. But let's get right into this. How's it been working so far with Nuclear Blast and all this?
Oh, Nuclear Blast is fucking amazing, man. They're like, I was so gun shy from the early 80s, and so many record companies that try to scam and rip you off. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but just the scene was really ruthless back then. And it's cool to have some place that's warm and fuzzy but real. Like, everybody's real. They shoot straight shooters. They're on by side, and you can tell. Like the shit they do is above and beyond protocol or whatever. I really love the whole Nuclear Blast family, from Gerardo Martinez and Nuclear Blast USA to Job Wagemaker and Innovator and managing out there in Europe, and all the people that help with the social media and the fanfare and the publicity and scheduling and spreadsheets and business. And it's they got big ass buildings with people pumping out they're like a record machine. They're the apex predator, the end all and be all of fucking metal, and it's just good to be here. It's like a dream come true.
Like I just mentioned, this is your first album in over 3 decades. I mean, it baffles me that it's taken this long, but I know you've overcome some obstacles and had to go, and you went through some things. But how's it feel to be back with a great, hard-kicking album, man? I mean, this has to get all your frustrations out when you was writing this.
Oh, yeah, man. I have the best group of guys in the world. We literally die for each other. This is my fucking family, my brothers. The blood brothers I never had in life. And, something I've really been searching for so long, man. And just to get up there, playing live, and, just seeing people fucking rock out, thrash, bang their heads, fucking pit. And just stand, and people want to see it, and it's just cool that people want to see it. And I trip off the audience as much, if not more, than they trip off me. So it's it's like double fun. You know, it's cool to see people that are still like in the OG California, you know, old school death metal, you know, and it just feels good, man. It feels right, and you know, I can't get enough of it. You know, it feels like home.
When writing this album, did it push you guys out of your comfort zone to get back into creating again for Possessed, possibly?
Oh yeah, completely. I mean, death metal is never comfortable. It's like satanic aerobics. Like, you got to be in shape. You can't slack. Like, if you don't, it's not like riding a bike. Like, you literally got to train for it, or you'll fucking get eaten alive. And you know, there's no faking it with Possessed. Like, everybody giving it fucking 666%. So yeah, I mean, we were it was scary because, you know, the last thing I wanted to do was shit on my own legacy, right? Or the legacy of you know, my earlier band members, because, you know, we put a lot of our blood, sweat, and tears in that too, and you know, I owe those guys a lot. But yet, you know, you know, when we broke up or they left, you know, I have to respect, you know, every man's journey. Every man has their own way in life, and you know, their time was, you know, up with Possessed, and they wanted to go do their own things, and I respect that. I love them. I owe them a lot, and but what you do is, after, you know, it was only 4 years we were together, but you take all those lessons and teachings that go both ways, you know, and you pack that in your soul, and you keep on going, you know, and so of course, you know, I have that foundation in me. I'm still, you know, Jeff Becerra. I'm still the same guy. So it's going to sound like Possessed, but yet, you know, we wanted to do something that when we got out of our comfort zone was in so much that we wanted to make, we didn't want to shit on our old fans and we wanted to make them happy, you know, because, you know, you know, they're hardcore. It's like a cult band. Like, we're not going to do something experimental. We're going to keep to our roots. And because, you know, just like when you hear Motorhead, it sounds like Motorhead. When you hear King Diamond or Merciful Fate, it's not, you know, it's King Diamond, right? Mm-hmm. And when you hear Possessed, you know it's Possessed. So that I just do the same thing with the first albums. I try to be myself. I try to write and you know, and stay original and true to myself, and also have, like, I know I'm talking a lot, but we had so many discussions about timing, what makes Possessed, you know, and it's more, well, we came to the stark realization that it's more than just timing, phrasing, and melody, and you know, picking. It's something that's almost spiritual, and in order to get that, you have to play with Possessed and really, really understand it, and it's impossible to explain, but. You know, these guys stuck with me for the last, we've been jamming the old stuff for, 13 years now, so these guys are, you know, over 3 times as long as the original group. They're very much the real Possessed. They know exactly what's expected and what they expect, and not only are they, like, they're not just like a backup band, they're like also leaders and veterans in their own right, and it's just really cool to collaborate. And personally, yeah, we intentionally push our comfort zones. We want to do stuff that's new and exciting and challenging, and most of all, we want to entertain our audiences, because at the end of the day, that's what we are, as entertainers, and we're there to fucking, you know, have people rock out, try to make you rock out.
So you guys played Bloodstock Open Air in 2017. How special was that for you guys to be out on that stage again in front of the crowd?
Oh, you know, that was part of our, I think, the Cursed Over Europe tour. It was, every time we go to Europe, it's like Devils Over Europe, Demons Over Europe, Cursed Over Europe. You know, it's something over Europe. But yeah, Bloodstock was kind of like, I didn't know what to expect, you know, out of Bloodstock. And then we got there, and I was like, wow, this is a pretty big festival, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, it turned out to be like, you know, like, because they sell themselves as kind of like, you know, a family put together festival, like a smaller to medium. And I got there, and there was like thousands and thousands of people. I was like, fuck, this is going to be badass. And we started out, you know, I didn't know whether that the sound was too good, and that's always scary. So, you know, like, I was like, does it sound okay out there? And everybody was like, yeah, fucking. So I just had to trust them, and we went with it. And it was one of like those few like kind of miracle sets where you can actually keep every song. You know what I mean? Like if you're recording it.
Yeah.
So like we did like a really good set. It felt really solid. But most of all, the crowd was on fire, man, and they were fucking into it. I think we won Best Band of the Day, and I don't know if we won Best Band of the festival, but we were in the running for that. And we luckily we were able to purchase the video of that through Nuclear Blast, and I was like, hey, we should get this. This is a good set. So they bought it, and we remastered it and remixed it. So the music is now on CDs and video, audio CDs and video card and whatever DVD, and part of the box set. And so it was really cool. Like they were playing it when Nuclear Blast came down to shoot that History of Death Metal documentary, and we were in the backyard, and one of the Beyond the Gates songs was playing. I was like, fuck, did somebody like remaster Beyond the Gates? Because the guitars sound good. They're like healthy and meaty. And Bobby was like, no, man, that's the Bloodstock live audio. And I was like, whoa, like that's fucking cool, man. It sounds like it's really cool, to hear those songs with a badass guitar sound.
And watching that performance, you had Shadow Cult that was live, and just all the set, it was so tight. I mean, everything was so tight. It was, I could feel it even just watching it from here, just on the internet. I mean, it was fucking good. So
good, yeah. Did you see the Obituary guy standing off to the stage right?
Yes, sir. And that's the thing.
That was really cool. Right? Like,
yeah.
if you're, that's what I'm saying about. I talk about it all the time. When your peers are around you, you try to show off. Like, and of course, the audience. First and foremost, when the audience is like on fire and all hot like that and fucking into it, that's like fuel, man. It's like coal to the furnaces of hell. And you can't help but get like drawn into that kind of energy, And then when you have your friends around, I know Max from Soulfly was there and he gave me a shirt, and all the bands and all the people, and and it was just fucking cool as shit, man. It felt right, and my guys were on hit, and it was fun as fuck, dude. I mean,
that's what I was gonna say. When you got your peers out there watching you, something special is happening. Not knocking the crowd, because that was great too, but when you have other people from other bands coming out there to watch you, something special is going on.
It's crazy, I mean, like, everybody talks about Possessed being such a big influence on everybody, but, you look at bands like Obituary and Morbid Angel, and, these are all friends of mine, and you think, like, man, these bands are fucking huge. Like, it's just like an honor to be fucking up on the stage or in the same, it's unbelievable that, we could come back after 33 years and I feel like I deserve a place, but at the same time, I feel like I'm still earning my way back, because, a lot of these guys haven't broke, they don't, and I had a good excuse, of course, but, I always feel like I'm just starting out, like every day is the first day,
What's impressed or excited you the most about creating this new album, if anything, possibly? What sticks out for you?
Oh, well, I mean, it's like, it starts out messy and sloppy and hard and mean and challenging, like, because it's like, you have a blank canvas and you've never really done this before, it's, and every album is always like this. It's like you have to literally pull something out of thin air, that's what artists do, is they create something, that's hopefully like beautiful and everlasting and meaningful, beautiful in a fucking evil and satanic way or whatever. I mean, it's like it's the creation of something out of nothing, and that's kind of daunting, whenever you first start. But what we noticed very quickly is we got into rhythms. We got into rhythms and patterns, and the things that didn't work, you quickly excise and remove from the process. And, what I learned very quickly is that, the guys are really tentative because, I'm really picky. I want it to sound like Possessed. So if I, like at least on the songs I wrote about half the music and, of course, all the lyrics. So what I found was kind of our strategy is I would put together, I have a little guitar that runs on batteries. It's like a 3/4 size fucking Fernandez Nomad. And I just turn it on. It's got a distortion built in and a little speaker, built into the guitar, and I'll just quickly like do a riff. Like if I find a riff, I'll be messing around with patterns or trying to improvise something. If I find something cool, I'll make a package of 7 to 12 riffs, and I'll email those to Dan. And then Dan will, because he's like a fucking, he went to college for producing and engineering, and he's like a master of Pro Tools and, all that recording stuff. And so what he'll do, and plus he's a great guitarist, he'll take my riffs and he'll sew them together and put transitions and flourishes, and it'll sound like the same riff but just nice, and he'll sew those together beautifully, and he'll do it with the drum machine. Then he'll email that to Bobby, our bass player, and Bobby will take his software and punch in his bass and email it to Claudius. Claudius will put in the solos, and then Dan will fly down and mic up Emilio's drums and replace the electronic drums with the real drums, and then lastly he'll fly to my house. We'll set up shop in my basement with a windscreen and the studio down there and a laptop, and I'll sing the vocals over everything. And we'll put a click track hidden under there, and we'll use all that as what we call the demo as foundational tracks for the actual album recording. So it saves time and cost, and you don't go in there blind, and you don't have to all be there at once because it's recorded, and the drummer can go in there first and play to the the existing foundational tracks, and that's our process now, and it seems to create kind of like both the demo and the end product, as well as give us something not only to draw out to, but to practice along with pre-tour and pre-album, and so that everybody's fine-tuned and everybody knows what's expected of them whenever they get to rehearsal,
Now, you guys released your first single, No More Room in Hell. Was it hard to choose between the current set of songs that you're working on for this album? Which one would be the first single, let alone a video?
No, I mean, that one, was... The record company latched on to that one right quick because I guess, they liked it. And that song is probably the one that got us signed. And, Nuclear Blast made it very clear that they wanted to use that right away. And for good reasons, man. It's a in your fucking face, like fucking it's kind of a cool tune, I think. It's got hooks and it's easy to dig. It's not like a fucking rite of passage to grit your teeth and bear your way through it. It's kind of a cool, I don't want to say catchy or commercial because that's all subjective. I just want to say that's one that, I dig because it's just fucking fun to listen to,
Revelations of Oblivion was recorded at NRG Studios and Titan Studios with yourself and executive producer Daniel Gonzalez as co-producer for the album.
Yeah. I was executive producer. Technically, all that means is that I was, kind of managing 3 or more producers. So,
how was working?
So,
how was working with
more
all
like,
these guys?
Business and paperwork and organizational skills. So, and of course, co-producing. That's just like fine-tuning sound and making sure everything sounds right. Shit like that.
How was working with these guys on this album when they were producing it?
Oh, they're complete assholes. No, I'm just kidding. Fucking honestly, Peter Tagrin and Danielle Gonzalez they're 2 of my favorite homies. I love the guys. They're so like, oh my God. This is the reason we picked Peter. And Peter actually came out of retirement to produce this new album.
Oh,
he told me, after the fact that when I met him, that he's been a fan since he's like 16 years old, and bought, as a teenager, bought 7 churches, and so we knew he was the guy because he just was so organic. And I mean, originally the way I found him is, I'd been on the scene and I was a little bit out of the loop. So I just kind of Googled who are the top 10 best death metal producers in the world. And sure enough, like the same, 10 people and 8 to 10 people kept popping up. And I kind of jotted down, the 10 of the many that kept popping up. And Peter's name was always right up there. And so, I sent that list to Gerardo Martinez, and I know I'm going off topic, and Gerardo said, Nuclear Blast works with 8 of these 10 people. So I said, whoa, that's cool. So I took that list back to our bandmates, and everybody was like, yeah, Peter Tagrin, because he did this. He just recently did the Celtic Frost, which was a monster album, and he knows Possessed, and he's more organic. He'll let us be us. He'll let Possessed be Possessed rather than have somebody trying to force our sound, because you know, there is that tendency for producers to overproduce or trying to make you sound like somebody else, you know, and Possessed, we wanted to be very unique. And, you know, as difficult as that is in this kind of modern day age, we wanted to keep our same kind of structure and rhythm. And Peter's just a guy, he like totally understood. We clicked right from the beginning. It's like, from the first time I walked in, I was sitting behind the board, shook his hand, I was like, just felt at home, comfortable. And of course, you know, me and Dan worked together all the time, creating the demos and you know, writing songs. And so it's really cool. I mean, the NRG was like, well, first we did the drum studios at Titan, which is like a big, echoey, like room sound. And then we went to the more, it's like a NRG is like a house, like in a back alley that's been converted into a studio, but it is like a killer studio. You know, it's got the what I call the fishbowl, you know, the glass where you sing your vocal booth, and you know, all kinds of guitars and keyboards, and the whole all the walls are just filled with gold and platinum fucking albums, right? And I'm like, holy shit, look at all the people that have recorded here, from Michael Jackson to Madonna. They did the fucking Footloose soundtrack there. And like just so many like R&B, blues, and just really fucking cool. Like, and I'm like, wow, this is a fucking hit factory, right? And sure enough, man, it was really cool. It's because it's so comfortable, and like you literally feel like you're sitting in somebody's living room. I mean, and you know, just working with Peter, it was just we just fast and furious. We pumped them out like first and second take. Like rarely did we have to do a third take, you know, or a fourth take. Of course that happened, but most of the time it was like I would see like Claudius going to do a solo, and I'd go out and smoke a cigarette, and I'd come back and I'm like, you guys ain't started yet? And they're like, no, we finished. I was like, fuck, you know, that was quick. Like everybody was prepared. It went like clockwork, and we did the whole album, and just ridiculously. I don't even want to say how long it took because it was so fast.
Are there any songs standing out more to you than any right now on this album? I know it must change every time you listen to it. I know you guys are close to them. But do you have any that stick out for you, Jeff?
Yeah, of course I like them all. But, you know, I'm not going to lie. Like, I like the ones that I wrote on the best. So, of course, I love them all. You know what I mean? I think on the surface you're going to have, you know, obvious fan favorites, but I'm never right on that, though. It's a trip because the ones I like usually the fans, the ones I like but I don't think will do well, it seems like the supporters like the most. So I think I'm too close to it. But of course, you know, the No More Room in Hell, which is the single, and Graven, which is, we just shot a video, and I got my buddy famous actor Peter Stormare to play Satan, and I played a priest in this video. It's going to come out soon. It's really cool.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, and you know, Shadow Cult and Abandoned and Damned. I like Damned, but I mean, like the ones I wrote on, like Demon and Dominion and Ritual, which I think Ritual is probably our heaviest song, or The Word. You know, The Word. You know, I think like I don't know if people will like that one as much, but you know, that was one that I had been saving those riffs since like 79 and early 80s, and I was finally felt good to kind of put them together into good use and be able to collab on that. So yeah, I like them all though. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like Omen is kind of a big-ass epic song, and I think that's the first time I've ever wrote lyrics from beginning to end with no hooks or choruses or repeat lyrics, just straight, you know, fucking, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I just fucking, they're just all different words. It's a whole story from beginning to end. There's like no repeat lyrics. You know?
How was work with Polish artist Z on this album? He's done several album cover arts for you guys. How was work with him on this one?
I had no idea who this guy was, right? Mm-hmm. It just, every time I got near to the Eastern Bloc, you know, anywhere near Poland, this guy would come up, and I'm a shaker and a mover. Like in death metal, you got to have some hustle, you know, in order to, you know, first of all, like, you know, you got to have enough money that you can afford to play music. So with death metal, it's a very blue-collar sport. You know, like, you got to have a lot of hustle. And so when this guy Z kept showing up to my concerts, every year he would bring me, you know, every year we go to Europe, and every year he'd bring me the latest calendar. And his calendars, I was like, man, like, because of course I'd already been toying with the idea of revamping the original Seven Churches cover, which was, though it got declined flatly for being too evil. So it was a satanic cathedral with a graveyard and like a woman hanging from a chain with this little owl demon holding the chain.
Oh God!
And I wanted to kind of bring that back, but churches are really difficult to make on a heavy metal album without them looking cheesy as fuck, right? Mm. So when I saw this guy's architecture, I was like, man, this is probably the guy to do it. And he kept emailing me. Once he got my email, he'd send me art and updates. And finally, I asked him. I had no idea that he had done the Ghost albums, or I think he did Creator and Sepultura and a bunch of stuff, right?
Oh, but, yeah. D-Side, Ghost, Gorgots.
Yeah, see, I had no idea that he did all that. And so we started collabing, and he took, we took our time, but yet we were going way over time. The first he came back with was it was like a voodoo doll of all different religions put together. I was like, no, we're doing a church, right? So we kept getting sidetracked, and so finally when we got on track, we worked, and I'm not gonna lie, like we were running over. It was holding back. The art was holding back the album because me and Z kept trying to perfect it. We kept fucking around with it, and it just got better and better. I still think if we had another 6 months, it would have been awesome. But all that detail, attention to detail, and he was really keen on like getting the lyrics and the music ahead of time and incorporating like a lot of the logic and structure of the lyrical structure and the music into the actual church, right? So brick by brick, if you look, it's like a little satanic Where's Waldo of the actual album lyrics in there. And we were hitting like demon summoning sigils and, the war between God and Lucifer and the stained glass. And it was just fun. That the Lucifer's crescent moon with the star to the side and just little kind of fun things. And so eventually the record company started getting fed up and they were like, let's just get the Slayer artist to make you up a quick cover. And that dude made one in like a day. No shit. That was really awesome, right? Uh-huh. And so I almost let him go. I almost fired him. And he said, no, Jeff, give me another week, right? Give me a week and I'll make it all right. And sure enough, a week and a half later, he gave me the final product. And I was like, perfect. Oh, I'm glad, right? So we're going to save that other one that Mauricio did I think his name's Mauricio, yeah. And we'll use that for something else. I love it. I think it's worth the price of the album just for the artwork because that's all hand done. He did it with paints and, ink and pencils and, that's a physical product. It's not all computer generated.
I always like looking at the cover art. I love the band's music, stuff like that, but don't get me wrong. But lots of times I do get drawn to the album art, and I will buy an album just specifically of the album art. And
that's important. I mean, because that's always been a physical product, man. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you. It is part of the music, and it should stick out.
When we made our first albums, there was no such thing as a CD. That came later, and we were like, what? There was no such thing as a microwave, and I remember when the remote controls used to have a big metal cord attached to the TV, and so yeah, we're fucking old. We're so old school, we're preschool.
What do you hope everyone takes away from this new album, or message you hope to hear while listening to it, or just any Possessed music in general, Jeff?
Yeah, I hope that these people just really get into it. Like, the way I write the lyrics is kind of like a parable. It's like you can go as deep or as non-deep as you want. You can just rock out to it, or you can delve deep into the lyrical content, try to understand like dual entendres and the double meanings and the hidden passages and secrets. And so it's there's a lot of girth. There's a lot of very verbose, and I pontificate quite a bit in this album, and just try to kind of like structure lyrics. And I hope that people will just dive deep into it, and I hope they'll listen to it at least 3 times before they come to a judgment on it, because Possessed is one of those bands that you might not get right away, but hopefully you do. If you do, that's great. But once you listen to it a few times, you maybe kind of understand the vibe we're going for. I just really hope that people enjoy it. I mean, at the end of the day, we're entertainers. I'm an entertainer. I'm there to entertain and to make people happy. As stupid as that sounds, I mean, that's really at the end of the day what we're shooting for.
Do you see this band still musically growing from where it started, or has it just been more of a personal growth for each of you involved with Possess so far?
Oh, I think that we've only just dipped our toe in the water of what we're going to do, and I think that we're kind of ever expanding. And I think that today I can honestly say that if not one of the most exciting genres, it is the most exciting genre in music today, because death metal is just it's so colorful and vibrant and alive, and so many great bands out there, and there's so much you can do. Like back in the beginning, we were kind of cookie cuttered into like being the expectation that we would just play kind of the churches stuff over and over, but nowadays, since there's so many metal, there's everything from folk to Viking to technical death metal to like there's so many different variations that like the world is just our oyster. We can do and say whatever we want. And if a band identifies as a death metal band, then I call them death metal, because I don't want death metal just to be a specific set of rules. And I want it to be like play whatever you want, whenever you fucking want to play it, and however the fuck you want to do it. And the end goal is just to reach a good product that you can put to, the consumer, or to the those people that essentially allow you to go up there and play. I mean, because without an audience, you're just a rebel without applause.
Do you like to do anything differently during the writing and recording process to maybe help keep your mind fresh and open, to not get bored, not let the music get stale? I know these are two separate identities, but do you like to do anything differently, possibly?
Yeah, I do everything from method to, studying, to taking notes, to watching movies, to, I read a lot. I'm brushing up on my Poe and, revelations in the Bible, and looking at current events to see how, if Satan is walking to and fro on the earth, how would that show itself? How would that show itself in the world today? And surprisingly enough, a lot of these biblical topics and this darkness is growing, and you can see it. You can see it translated on the world. Not to break bad or negative, but the world is Satan and Lucifer are mainstream now. And it never used to be that way, and so it's kind of easier to write about like current events and topics and things that are going on today. And I wouldn't say that Possess is political by any stretch of the imagination, but we do write about stuff that's going on and stuff in the world, as well as more fantasy and spiritual stuff as well. And it does always have that kind of religious kind of undertone, whether it be the war against dogmatic practices or the opiate of the masses, to maybe even the prose of spirituality.
There is a lot of dark things on this earth, that is for sure, and it's crazy on some of the stuff that's happened. It blows my mind, to be honest with you, but it's true. I mean, it's you're right. But
yeah. I mean, it's kind of fun to kind of just like wax philosophical and kind of go ham and try to make it in an entertaining way. And like I say, it could mean, my lyrics could mean anything to anybody. It depends on the reader.
What can fans expect at a show from Possessed who have not got to see you guys live as of yet? What are they going to get?
Well, they're going to get 666%. We're going to, that's what we are born to do. That's what we live to do. We're all road dogs, and we love it. While some people fall apart on the road, we just makes us stronger and fight harder, and we just want to put on a good show, man. We want to fucking just go out there and fucking let it all hang out every single night.
Now, I know a lot of things have changed somewhat from when you guys were doing albums and stuff from back in the day till now, but do you like this digital era of recording albums to get music out quicker? And now we've got social media to reach out to more folks who have not got to hear of Possessed as of yet. Do you like this now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that, it'd be foolish not to embrace technology. Possessed has always spent gobs of money. The reason that, the Seven Churches and Eyes of Horror and Beyond the Gates, they sound so 80s is because it was the 80s. It's not that we weren't dropping loads of money, because we were going to like Fantasy Studios, which is, where they did the English Patient, and George Lucas does there. And we were right between Night Ranger and David Lee Roth Band when we recorded there. and with Joe Satriani producing, and but now with technology, you can instead of focusing, used to be that you would have to physically like take a razor blade and cut 3 1/4 inch Ampex and physically tape it back together, like stitch it together to splice, and all that's out the window now. And to be fair and honest, in the interest of sounding old school, we're still, our amps are still pushing air. We're still mic'd up. It's a 90% analog album, with the exception of like Pro Tools and some digital outboard effects. And the advantage of using Pro Tools and that digital technology in the syncing software to sync the demo with the album, is like, it's a time saver. It gives you the ability to think more abstractly and more musically, and to think more of an artisan and an actual the musicianship of it, rather than the physicalities of cutting and splicing and having to wait and pine around while the engineer does his thing. And so you can just be like, okay, that's a take, no good. That's a take, no good. That's a take, keep it, and move on to the next. And everything's stored on a monster hard drive, and you don't lose anything, and nothing's accidentally lost, and you can go back and keep that for later or whatever. And this is a time saver, and also just like the technology itself allows you the ability to get a better sound, a better mix. And as much as people were saying maybe you should dumb it down and make it sound like the 80s, I know that Possessed fans are hyper intelligent, and there's no way I'm going to dumb it down, because that would be an insult to our listeners. They want to hear something good and solid, and they want to hear the individual instruments, and that's just a method and a means to an end, and of course you want the best sound possible.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you, man, that said, yeah, that's what I want to do right there?
Well, I grew up in a very musical family. My dad's like a Mexican Elvis. He's like Elvis,
Yeah.
And he played rockabilly, a piano, like kind of Tin Pan Alley type, standards, and he was a really solid piano player. My mom was she was solo violinist in the Richmond Symphony. So when I grew up, I grew up around my mom and dad, playing together, and just loving the music, and initially when I was like 5 years old, my parents forced me to take guitar lessons, classical guitar lessons, and I fucking hated it. But yet my sister was always better than me, and that bothered me. So I was always kind of in a competition with her. And I ended up learning how to read music and getting a lot of theory and just basic stuff down. Now even before that, at a very young age, my parents bought me a drum set.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd fuck around on that. And then of course whenever I started going, and just when I was entering junior high, I met up with my homeboy, my best. We became fast friends, like thick as thieves. Mike Miner, who later on went to drum for Blind Illusion, and so a lot of other bands, and Larry Lalonde, and we connected in like 78, 79. Like 11, 12 years old, and we started our first band. They already had Danny Bowen and Larry Lalonde on guitar, and what they needed is a bass player. So I kind of quickly put together that I wanted to be in a band bad. And drums and guitar is bass, and it's kind of like a percussive instrument, and like drums, and also a guitar belt with 4 strings. So my sister put C-Series, it was a P-Bass copy, on layaway down at Fiat Music, and she paid $20 a month to finance my first bass. And I joined the band, and I never looked back. I fucking just loved jamming out with Larry and the boys, and writing and creating, and getting our first gigs, which my sister got us a gig at some of the older kids. There were like these biker guys. This biker guy named Mike Deshane, and she got us a house party. We were little kids, like super little, like the bass looks huge on me, and we went and played like a Sabbath and all kinds of like UFO and those kind of tunes, and we got a really good reaction, maybe because we were little kids, but also because we were rocking hard, and that kind of feeling, that initial feeling of being able to play and entertain live, it's something that is just kind of miraculous in its own way, and very amazing feeling. And we all just fell in love with it, and we never looked back, man. We just kept on rocking and rocking. Later on, we got people like Gary Holt to manage us, and got our first gigs at like Alvarado Park. And like I say, me and Larry were, I think at least 4 or 5 years younger than the Mikes whenever I started Possessed with them. And I had to go back and get Larry because, I missed, jamming with him. He was always kind of a mentor and, like a brother. And we were already pretty established. We were already doing gigs, and I don't believe those other guys, the Mikes, had ever even played a show. And so we brought that, even though we were younger, we brought that kind of professionalism with us, and it felt good to be in control and to help mold and be a part of something that felt revolutionary, and it felt important. It just felt like we were doing something magical and cool.
Is there a Possessed album for you that's out there that should have got more likes, or that's underrated, you think, possibly?
Well, I mean, there's only 2 albums and an EP, which was, or the 4 years we were together were very short and quick, short and sweet. But I think that my favorite album would have to be Beyond the Gates, even though I love Churches, because, the musicality of it, and Mike was doing some magical rhythms and songwriting, and of course Larry was starting to get into the fray and writing, and it just I just liked the musicality of that, and of course I love all the albums, but it just seemed like something really special. I know that our producer said you guys were a lot tighter on 7 Churches, but I didn't believe that shit because I knew that what we were doing was like we were kind of branching out and trying to explore our own musical paths and really put something, a piece of our soul out there on the wax, and I dig that. I dig that album a lot. A lot of people say the production is bad, but I think that any true OG can mix in their head, and I think that the even though like the original guitars were heavy and fucking sounded great, something went awry in the mix. Unfortunately, Carl Kennedy lost a lot of the distortion in the guitars, but still yet. With the cleaner guitars, you can actually hear every note, and it's like a lot more clear, and there's like no frills. Like it stands on principle and musicality alone, I think.
It's like I've always said, man, these older albums, I like the rawness of them. There's a lot of them that has that old rawness to them, especially like White Zombies, Larcisto Devil Music Volume 1. That album, it's so raw that it sounds perfect. Everything sounds so good on it. And I like those old school albums like that. Yeah,
I'm not familiar with that album, but I mean, we were lucky enough to play with Rob Zombie at Ozzfest, and fuck yeah, you rock the house, man. Like you gotta appreciate that shit. It's heavy, it's fun, and that guy is really successful, and he's doing something right because he's got one of those bands that you can't help but really really dig and enjoy.
Is there a country that stands out or shocks you that Possessed gets support from still to this day?
You know what? It's like when we went to Paraguay, man, Possessed was on fucking fire there. We felt like the Beatles or something, man. Those fans were rabid, man. Like crazy. Like I would look over at a group of girls and they would just burst out in tears and they were like trying to pull your hair out or get a piece of you or just so fucking into it. Like it was on the front page of the newspaper right next to, the president of Paraguay visits, and then Jeff Becerra, the creator of death metal, makes this triumphant entrance into Paraguay. And it was funny because when we were coming in, I was, being the cheapskate I am, I was trying to say, like, we had our long hair and leather jackets and our guitars, and they were like, "Are you here to work?" And I was like, "No, we're just here to jam with some fellows and hang out." And they were like, "Yeah, right." And I was like, "No, really," because I didn't want to pay like the $110 or whatever. And then so we ended up paying, and then we went around the corner. There was like 150 people with news stations and cameras and Possessed banners, and I was like, "Oh fuck, this guy must have just thought I was completely full of shit." And it was really cool, man. Like, you know, police escorts and it was fucking crazy. And also, like, in Greece and Athens and Thessalonica, like, fuck, man, it reminded me of, like, a time machine back to the 80s. And, of course, you know, some of the European, the big festivals, like, that shit didn't exist whenever Possessed was, you know, back in the day. Like, you know, we'd never played those kind of 100 to 150,000 people festivals. And so that, like, blew my fucking mind, you know, of course. And, of course, I love the small shows, too, because, you know, that's where you can fine-tune and really get the true reaction of the audience. And, you know, if I play too many big festivals, I feel like a sellout. So I'm always sure to book, like, smaller, like, local venues and just really, you know, get into the spirit, because the best teachers are the audience and how they react, you know.
Is there anything, Jeff, that you would like to see change in metal or death metal? Is there anything that you would like to see go back to or maybe incorporate into these days?
You have to be on your toes. You have to have the wherewithal to kind of glean what's good, especially in, you know, business and practices. And, you know, a lot of shit that I just didn't pay attention to as a younger kid, you know, I see today and I go, wow, you know, I really dropped the ball on that. So of course, like, especially in the business practices, and, you know, I manage Possessed as well. So, you know, it's like, you know, I use every bit of, you know, schooling in college that I've acquired over the years, that just in the business alone. Now, musically, sure. Like, the one thing that I'm always worried about is I don't listen to other bands whenever I'm writing or we're writing an album, and I encourage the other guys not to either, because I try to keep a originality. You know, I don't want to accidentally, like, it's really easy to accidentally glean something, and so we try not to do that. But, you know, it becomes more and more difficult with so many great bands out there. And, you know, if somebody's got a really great idea, like the blast beat, like, I think for around 10 seconds on the new album, we actually do a blast beat, but we kind of disguise it as a roll, you know, and, you know, that's not something Possessed innovated, and that came later with, I don't know, maybe Morbid Angel, but, you know, some shit's just too good to pass up, you know.
I want to go back here just a little bit. I want to talk about the creation of death metal, this documentary. Let's talk about this a little bit. Is it done filming or documented yet? What's going on with it?
I'm thinking that part 5 comes out tomorrow.
Okay.
And I believe there's another part 6 coming out. So I think the one that comes out next, we talk about band logos and their value and significance, you know, from the bands that have the indistinguishable, they look like a pile of twigs. Yeah. And how those are cool, because, you know, if you speak death metal, or you got to brush up on your death metal reading skills, but it's kind of fun to figure out, you know, what that means. And all the way to, like, the kind of more iconic, you know, like the Morbid Angels or the Death, or even the Possessed, which we were very conscious to clean that logo up and make it, like, you know, our marquee, like something easily visible and something that you know, when you see the Possessed logo, you know it's Possessed. And so, you know, all that's really cool. And I think we, you know, as trivial as it sounds, I think that, you know, logos are really important, and I think that's the next step of the documentary. And then they'll finish it off with, I won't talk about the 6th part, but the conclusion should be something really entertaining too. So it's at least a 6-part series. And on top of that, I'm currently, like, in production for a full feature-length film on my life story and Possessed. And so I'm doing that with my good buddy and famous actor, my favorite actor, and Mr. Peter Stormare. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I don't think so, no.
Did you ever see Constantine with Keanu Reeves?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Remember at the end, Lucifer comes in a white suit dripping tar to get him and bring him to hell?
Yes, I do. That's him.
That's Peter Stormare, yeah. Okay. And he was also in Armageddon, remember, with Bruce Willis?
Okay.
And remember, they go up to the refueling station in outer space, and there's a crazy Russian guy up there?
That's him. Okay.
That's Peter Stormare. Or he was in Fargo. Did you ever see Fargo?
I didn't watch that movie, no.
The Big Lebowski, he was one of the Nihilists, the leader of the Nihilists.
Yeah.
Or he's in Clown, he was the demon hunter. Or, God, he was in John Wick, you know? Yeah. He was the Russian gangster. Yeah, so, yeah, Peter's really cool. Like, he's really cool. He tells, he was, I met him, he was friends with Peter Tagrin, Peter T., and when we came in for the last two songs of recording out in that NRG, and it was like NoHo, North Hollywood, Ventura, kind of that area, and I was recording, I think it was a band, and everybody just stopped paying attention to me, and some guy with a beard and glasses and an Adidas sweatsuit and flip-flops came in, and everybody just kind of ignored me. I was like thinking, like, what am I, chopped liver? And I didn't recognize him. And then so I came out, I was like, what the fuck? I thought we were recording down, and they were like, you know who that was? I was like, who? And they were like, oh, it's Peter Stormare from Constantine. I was like, oh, fuck. So when he came back in, I guess they went out to get some coffee, and he came back in, he was like, sorry. I was like, sorry, I didn't recognize you. And instantly, he starts breaking down my entire life story. He's like, Jeff, you're like a phoenix rising through the ashes. And he just went on and on, like knowing like every step of my career. And I was like, are you pitching me a deal? And he's like, yeah, I don't want to fuck around 50-50, and put his hand out. So fuck yeah, I shook it. And the next day he was in there with the full-on camera crew, like a film crew. And he started following us around Hollywood and L.A., and he filmed the 2 whiskey shows. We did like a 6-hour interview, and they went to our rehearsals, and we're just hanging around, with the whole fucking film crew, like doing shows with you mounted a GoPro on the back of my wheelchair, like a little GoPro looking over my shoulder, and like 17 cameras around the whiskey, and it was fucking cool though. I mean, like, I went to record an album, I went to Hollywood and became a movie star. It was really cool.
So when will this be out possibly? Anytime soon, or is this going to be out later this year or next year?
Well, we wanted to put it out in synchronicity and sync with the album release tomorrow, but we're wanting to do a little bit more and get some more core footage. So it will be out. It'll be out in a matter of time. We're still kind of shopping it around and doing some of the legals and specifics, but everything's pretty wired-tight. We're probably at least 3/4 of the way done. And, I'm looking forward to that. I want it to be right, and of course I have to go through the material and approve or disapprove or whatever. I want it to, but I can tell right away it's going to be a different kind of documentary. It's not going to be the same old shit,
So what's it mean to you, Jeff, when you see these bands that's having huge success and they come back and they mention Possessed was a big influence on them? That has to come back all to the forefront for you, man.
It's unbelievable. I'm so honored and humbled at the same time, because you got to remember, on Seven Churches, I was 16, Larry was 15. We were just kids, and so,
yeah.
Like I say, we were intentionally doing something different and trying to make a name for ourselves, but, we didn't know whether it would be accepted, and to a wide extent back in the 80s, death metal was not acknowledged as an art form, and that was like a fight within itself. So for death metal and for people like, I've heard Max Cavalera and, Moises from Christian and the Obituary guys, and even Morbid Angel and Cannibal Corpse, and the Vader did our songs, and Cannibal did our songs, Animal on Mars, and all these fucking huge bands that you just really can't, you just love, I mean, like, they're so well established and put in so many fucking years of hard ass work, and for them to acknowledge even the existence, more or less, us be a contributing factor. It's like the singer, what's his name? Is his name Peter from Opeth? The singer, what's his name?
Opeth? I can't recall.
Opeth. Well, he left me like a really, like, I don't want to sound no homo, but it was like a really sweet and touching. Our road manager, he left I was sleeping in a van, and I guess he left me a video message on our tour manager's phone, and saying that, you guys were inspiring. We used to play death metal, and, these are big bands. And I'm just like, whoa, man, it's just mind-blowing, It's mind-blowing to even, acknowledge. You almost got to, not even think about it, because, it's a lot to live up to, and you especially, I just don't want to let anybody down, I don't want to, tarnish the legacy of Possessed, but yet as an artist, I have that desire and that unquenchable need to keep creating, so.
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Possessed new album. It's their new album in 3 decades, Revelations of Oblivion, that'll be released tomorrow via Nuclear Blast Records. And I'm not saying it's just because Jeff's on here, but they have some really, really great music. Get out and check them out. Also, check out The Creation of Death Metal, the documentary part that they're doing with Nuclear Blast. And also check out this documentary on Jeff's life when this does come out. So
let me give a shout out. I just did a video single with, you know who Anders Odin is? He's from Satyricon and Celtic Frost and Ministry, and he was the innovator of the creator of Norwegian death metal. And him and Dirk Verbeuren from Megadeth, the drummer.
Yeah.
And so I just did a single with their band, their collab called Circle of Morbidity, and that's with Cadaver, and it's out on YouTube right now. So,
my friend, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise, tour dates when you guys go on tour. How can they do this, Jeff?
Well, you know, we can go to the www.possessedofficial.com. You can go to my Twitter at Jeff Becerra. You can go to the Possessed 666 on Facebook, or you can go to the Instagram, which will be Possessed_official, or you can go to the Nuclear Blast page, or just, you know, search Possessed or Jeff Becerra or, you know, new album or whatever, and, you know, it's pretty much all over. I mean, we're on Sony, Warner, Distro, and Nuclear Blast, and you know, it's pretty much everywhere. iTunes, Pandora, whatever, you know.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Yeah, I would love to. Hey, this is Jeff Becerra of the band Possessed. You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, YouTube link, and very soon our Twitch link. And please get out and check out Possessed. Pick up their new album, Revelations of Oblivion, via Nuclear Blast Records. I'm pretty damn sure you'll like this band. Jeff, thank you so much, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Marshall. And, you know, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you. I had a really good time. I mean, I do a lot of these interviews, man. You're you're fucking the bomb, dude. We were talking, like, God, a good 45 minutes before we even started this. And it went by in a, you know, New York heartbeat, man. It feels good.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.